There was a time when slavery meant chains. Now it means likes, comfort, entertainment, endless dopamine. You are not being controlled by whips. You're being controlled by pleasure. And Aldous Huxley saw it coming, long before smartphones, social media, or binge streaming. He warned of a world where control wouldn't come through pain, but through joy. Not through fear, but through addiction. Not through violence, but through comfort. In his novel, Brave New World, Huxley described a future where humans are kept passive and obedient by artificial happiness, where truth is irrelevant, where people are distracted, entertained, and numbed. Into compliance? Sound familiar? This is not fiction anymore. This is now. And if you don't learn to recognize it, you will become its slave. Because the pursuit of pleasure, when left unchecked, becomes the most sophisticated form of modern slavery. Not with bars, but with choices. It's with freedom that leads nowhere. With constant stimulation that kills your capacity for meaning, and worst of all, you'll beg for it, you'll defend it, you'll love your cage. This is the horror Huxley predicted. A society so addicted to pleasure that it would no longer recognize its own chains. It's a society that would trade freedom for entertainment, depth for distraction, soul for sedation, and you're living in it. So the question is, how do you escape? Begin by understanding that not all pleasure is bad, but all unchecked pleasure is dangerous. Pleasure is not evil, but it is designed to consume you in the modern world. It's industrialized, monetized, optimized to keep you scrolling, eating, watching, numbing, obeying. It doesn't make you alive. It makes you quiet. Pleasure has become the perfect drug because it doesn't look like a drug. It looks like a reward, a break, a harmless distraction, but it's not harmless. It's psychological warfare, and you're the target. Dopamine is not evil. It's natural. It motivates you to seek reward, to move, to survive. But in the modern world, it's hijacked, flooded, weaponized. You are now surrounded by a system that is constantly triggering dopamine not to help you grow. To keep you hooked, every ping, every scroll, every ad, every like. It's all carefully designed to spike your brain and train it to seek only one thing: more pleasure, more stimulation, more escape, and the result. You lose your tolerance for stillness. You get bored easily. You chase novelty instead of meaning. You begin to fear silence. Fear discomfort. Fear anything that isn't instantly gratifying. This is how pleasure kills meaning slowly, visibly, and completely. Because meaning requires patience. It requires effort. It requires presence. Pleasure offers you none of that. It offers ease. And ease, unchecked, becomes decay. You are not built to be constantly stimulated. Your nervous system wasn't designed for endless scrolling, endless content, endless noise, and yet, that's what you're fed every single day. Why? Because the more distracted you are, the easier you are to control. This is the modern version of Huxley's slavery. People who believe they're free because they can choose what to consume, not realizing that what they consume has already chosen them. The algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about attention. The easiest way to keep your attention is to keep you comfortable, outraged, or addicted. So you lose your edge, your discipline, your hunger. You don't create. You consume. You don't build. You scroll. You don't think, you react. This is the death of meaning. And the worst part, you won't even notice it happening. You'll feel busy, connected, stimulated, but inside you'll be hollow, disoriented, numb. Because dopamine without direction becomes spiritual anesthesia, and the only cure is to interrupt it. You must unplug, not for detox, but for war. A war against your lowest self. A war against the part of you that craves distraction more than development. You must suffer. Not because suffering is good, but because it's real. And realness in a world of illusion is your only escape. So burn the comfort, abandon the feed, break the loop, not just for a day. Because every moment you spend chasing pleasure is a moment you surrender your power. Every mindless scroll is a small act of self-betrayal. Every indulgence without purpose is another brick in the cage you're building around your soul. You think freedom is about having options. It's not. Freedom is the ability to choose meaning over noise, to choose discipline over indulgence, to choose truth over comfort even when that truth hurts. You won't find this in a motivational quote. You won't find it on a dopamine-rich feed. You'll find it in the mirror. When you ask yourself the question nobody wants to answer, am I actually alive or just stimulated? Because stimulation is not living. It's distraction. It's sedation. It's the illusion of engagement while your soul starves in silence. And if you're brave enough to admit that, you're already ahead of most people, because most are too far gone, addicted, programmed, defending their own slavery like it's freedom, but not you. You are dangerous, not because you're perfect, but because you're aware. And awareness is the first weapon. It's the crack in the system. Right. It's the moment you stop obeying and start observing. The moment you see the loop and choose not to feed it. That is rebellion. That is real pleasure. That is the beginning of self-command. So stay hungry, stay sharp. Stay uncomfortable, because in a world designed to keep you numb, feeling everything is the ultimate act of power. And if you want to remain dangerous, you must build rituals that protect your edge. Discipline is not about pain, it's about preservation. It is the structure that holds meaning in place when everything around you is designed to dissolve it. Wake up before the world demands it. Move your body before your mind resists it. Read before you scroll, write before you react. Silence the world before it silences you, because every choice you make either sharpens your edge or dulls your spirit. The gym is not just for muscles. It's for sharpening your will. Fasting isn't just physical, it's rebellion against indulgence. Meditation isn't just peace, it's the sharpening of focus in a world of chaos. These are your weapons, your shields, your rituals of defiance. The world wants you weak, loud, addicted, obedient. But you will be silent, sharp, disciplined, and dangerous. Because that is how you win in a world that wants you asleep. And it all begins with one. A question Huxley wanted you to ask before it was too late. What am I choosing every day, comfort or freedom? Because one of those leads to slavery, and the other leads to truth. Now, the extended ending continues, because this world isn't going to save you. It doesn't want to. It wants your compliance, your obedience, quiet consumption. It wants your gaze fixed on screens, and your spirit dulled by comfort. But you weren't born for that. You were born for fire, for depth, resistance. Every generation faces a battle, and yours is psychological. Not fought in trenches, but in timelines. Not with bullets, but with notifications. Not in cities, but in minds. And the battlefield is you. Your attention, your focus, your desires. Your inner narrative. The system doesn't care who you are. It only cares that you keep feeding it. That you keep scrolling, buying, reacting. That you never stop to ask, is this who I want to become? But once you ask that, everything changes, because you begin to see the cost of your comfort, not in dollars, but in dreams. Every hour lost to mindless pleasure is a piece of your future stolen. Every craving satisfied without control is a muscle of your willpower wasted. Every easy choice compounds into a hard life, and the opposite is also true. Every act of discipline is a vote for freedom. Every moment of silence is a rebellion. Every second of discomfort embraced is a signal to the universe that you are done being a slave. Not a slave to a system, but a slave to your impulses, because that's the final twist. You don't need chains when your own desires hold you down. That's the brilliance of modern control. It convinces you to chain yourself. It lets you believe the cage is your choice, that you're just relaxing, that it's just entertainment, that you're just living your life. But deep down you know better. You feel it when you wake up tired from doing nothing. You feel it when your mind can't sit still. You feel it when you chase goals and quit halfway. That tension, that guilt, that flicker of regret. Your soul remembering it was born for more, and you must honor that. You must become the architect of your own. Liberation, design your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Remove the triggers, build the systems. Reward the real progress, not the illusion of it. Make your phone a tool, not a trap. Make your habits your allies. Make your time sacred again. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need to vanish into the forest. You just need to become deliberate. Deliberate in your choices. Deliberate in your inputs. Deliberate in your identity, because identity isn't found, it's forged in discomfort, distance, in the fire of saying no when everything inside you screams yes. This isn't just self-improvement. This is spiritual warfare, because at its core, your life is a battle between two versions of you, the one who obeys and the one who builds. One takes orders from the algorithm. Other writes his own code. One dies slowly in pleasure. The other is reborn in purpose. Which one will you feed today? Don't answer with words. Answer with action. This is your time, your line in the sand. No one's coming to save you. But if you're willing to suffer, if you're willing to feel, if you're willing to stand where others kneel, then you don't need saving. You are already free. Now prove it.